Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night at the Angie O'Donnell Aquatic Center, and that means it's girls swimming. Dual meet tonight between the McFarland Spartans and the Monroe Cheesemakers. I'm your host, Mike Madursky, along with my other broadcaster, Wes Lagerhausen. Wes, it is senior night tonight.
Let's go.
So during the break, there'll be a presentation of all the seniors. We will announce that portion as well. But we're going to get started here with the junior varsity 200 medley relay. And currently it will just be the McFarland A team of Cook, Finnerty, Chandre, and Malig. You can cook in the water with the backstroke there. And for those that are new to swimming, or this is their first broadcast, the medley relay ends up going backstroke, then breaststroke, then butterfly, and then freestyle, which will be different than the individual medley, which will be later. We'll explain that when we get there. So Wes, while we're waiting here for the exchange here between Cook and Finnerty, any big memories from your senior night when you were in high school?
I've had a couple, both high school and college. Both are memorable because it's that last time that you're going to be in this pool, in this setting, and with those people that you've been with for the same 4 years if they've been your classmates. Or, again, with this team at this pool for this season. A lot of times other people come to watch you race, and just gives it that little special feeling one last time before the end of the season.
And this is one of those seniors here, Aaron Finnerty. Moving on to the butterfly and Emma Chandre here.
Hear that Spartan thunder up above us too.
Yeah, it's like there might be a little bit of rain and thunder.
I think it's all those McFarland Spartan sharks.
Oh, it's the
stomping
sharks
their feet.
stomping on their feet? All right. Well, it was raining earlier, so maybe.
I know, I thought I was supposed to not start till tomorrow, but it's all right.
And here is another senior, Ava Malig, with the freestyle. Got a nice turn there, coming into her final 10 or 15 yards. Head down. And a nice swim there. 2 minutes 34.15 seconds for the junior varsity team. Now we'll be off to event number 2, the girls 200-yard medley relay. In lane 3, we have the B relay of Foley, Chapman, Dahl, and Elgin. In lane 4, McFarland's A relay of Green, Kunze, Alf, Tierney. In lane number 5, it is Monroe's A relay of Gieb, Piper, Faber, and Morrison. And in lane number 6, the B relay for McFarland, Tobin, Mignon, Douglas, and Van Horn. Got a little discussion here with the referees. assuming somebody left early in the relay.
That can happen. And that would be something that they would discuss.
Looks like, yep.
Gotcha. So just heard the referee say that the backstroker was on their stomach, meaning a delay initiating turn. When you're doing a backstroke flip turn, if you're on your stomach for too long, then you're no longer on your back doing backstroke, which is means for disqualification.
All right, and here is the start of that girls medley relay for the varsity. McFarland out to a nice lead here. It's Carolyn Green. Scoring for the relays are important. Scoring for the team scores 8 points for first place. Second is 4 points. And third is 2 points. 8, 4, 2 are the points for those relays. So really important on the relays to win, and even more importantly, get either second or third.
Yeah, winning will automatically get you a lead by 2 points minimum. If you can pull in anything else after that, that's just extra on top.
McFarland breaststroker out to the comfortable lead. Three seniors are in the medley relay. Sophia Alf on that A relay, Charlotte Douglas and Cass Van Horn on the B relay. So 3 more seniors to highlight.
Yeah, it's a pretty spread out field here. Don't know, it's out of reach here with only a 50 left.
And Olivia Tierney in the water for McFarland. Morrison for Monroe. If you guys are picking that up on the broadcast, we have the McFarland Spartan Sharks here to cheer on the girls. So they are providing some energy here to this team. And McFarland gets the win, 159-89 for McFarland. Second is Monroe, 207-84. And in third is the McFarland B relay, 209-78. So a good start for McFarland, scoring 10 points in that relay compared to Monroe's 4. Next up, we'll have the girls 200-yard freestyle junior varsity. On the junior varsity side, we just have one swimmer, Monroe's Brindley Chapman. There's a shot of Sophia Alf and Jess Garvey talking about the race. So Wes, as a former swimmer, when you get out of the pool and you go talk to the coaches, what's usually the discussion points or topics that they talk about?
It really depends on each individual swimmer, depending on what you're training on, or maybe some of those weaknesses or strengths. Usually as a coach, you want to kind of hit both of those to reiterate something that went well so that can keep on happening, and also to hit some of those lower points to know what to work on in practice. Some of the best criticism is that's better, but we can still work on this further.
Sure.
Coach myself, a lot of times You kind of break down the stroke into 5 different categories. I always like to think of it as your kick, your catch of your stroke, your breath, your body position, and your timing. If you can hit any of one of those categories to either be constructive or find some work on, that's a good step in the right direction into the next week or the next practice or however long it might take you to make some of these changes and keep progressing and advancing your stroke to that next level.
Chapman is now halfway through her 200. 100 yards to go.
Junior free is a great race. Gotta be quick all the way through, but being able to have that energy for that duration is that fine line as an athlete that you try to feel out in practice and through these dual meets. So again, at the end of the season, you can fine tune the amount of energy you're exactly using where and when. Good kick here at the end. It's an important thing to see from every swimmer at the end of a junior free.
And Chapman coming in for her last 25. And she's going to come in at 2:51.85. All right, the next event is event number 4, the girls 200-yard freestyle. In lane 2 from McFarland is Casey Draper. Lane 3, Lynch from Monroe. Lane 4 from McFarland, Natalie Schwab, another senior. Megan Chapman from Monroe in lane 5. Ellie Draper from McFarland in lane 6. Piper Faber, Monroe, lane number 7. There we go. Nice start there.
Yep, right out that first 50, nice and smooth. But at that pace that you need to be going, so you can hold it here through this middle 100. This middle 100 here is really important. Everybody's always got a little left at the end, so we can be good here in the middle, stay in that race, be competitive. That can make it or break it.
Monroe's Chapman out to a slight lead here. Natalie holding on, though. He's making it interesting.
You've got to keep her in your sights here.
Third is currently Delaney Lynch from Monroe. Scoring for the individuals are 6 points for first place, 4 points for second, and then it goes 3-2-1. So you might win the race getting 6 points, but your team can get second and third. Actually, you actually end up scoring more points in that route. And as we've talked about many a times, a lot of these dual meets come down to who came in second, third, or fourth.
And a lot of times races come down to close races. We're talking, you know, tenths of a second.
Yep.
So whoever can grit it out and get that position change or be one place higher can make all the
Schwab
difference.
Coming in, but I think Chapman's going to hold her off. Nice swim, 2:04.14 for Chapman. Natalie Schwab 2:04.97. Third place with a 2:10.95 is Delaney Lynch. And then fourth place, Ellie Draper. Fifth place, Casey Draper.
I feel like there was a soft touch in lane 7. That time should correct itself. Otherwise, the referees will go to stopwatches and correct that time.
And it looks like that's what they're going to do right now. Let's go check the watches as they come in. So while we're waiting for that delay, next up will be the individual medley, the girls 200-yard individual medley. You can see in the upper right-hand part of the screen where meet director Stu Schaefer is checking in the times. Coming in, I'll give the results and the times. While we're waiting for that, we'll just quickly go over who's swimming this girls 200-yard varsity. Lane 2, Addie Worth from McFarland. Lane 3, Monona's Amelia Gieb. Lane 4, Izzy Tobin for McFarland. Lane 5, Anna Zentzner for Monroe. And Calista Mignon for McFarland in lane number 6. If you happen to be watching on our YouTube channel, feel free to send us a note. We've got chat up here and running. We'll try to answer questions if you have any. While we're waiting, this is our last girls swim meet broadcast. We're hoping to do the boys in the boys season as well, so keep an eye out for when the boys start, and we'll get you a listing of when we'll be broadcasting the boys swim as well. Looks like we're ready for the next event.
So you had brought this up earlier with the Medley Relay being all 4 strokes. Similar to the 200 individual medley, we will have all 4 strokes just in a different order. So for the 200 IM here, start off with butterfly, then go to backstroke, then breaststroke, and finish with freestyle.
And I know we mentioned this before, but it always seems to come down to the breaststroke, usually. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, it's just one of those strokes where I think the differentiation from each swimmer causes bigger amounts of difference in time. It's a very interesting stroke, and compared to the other 3, it has the least in common. So that would be a big reason why a lot of times it comes down to that breaststroke leg, but also with it still being short course in the high school season, if you can really stick those other 3 strokes, you can be really successful as well.
Anna Zeitzner out to a comfortable lead here, followed by Amelia Gieb in lane 3. Izzy Tobin from McFarland in 4. And followed by Mignon and Worth in lanes 2 and 6. This one looks like it's going to be all Monroe.
Yeah, they got out quick and are holding on here even through that breaststroke leg that we were talking about.
And it will be Anna Zensner coming into the wall. 224.33 for her, 226.53 for Mila Gieb. Izzy Tobin is going to hit the wall first for McFarland. She'll come in third place. We'll see what her time is here. 240.75. Followed by Calista Mignon. 242.47. And Addie Worth, 247.18. All right, next up we have the junior varsity version of the girls 50 free. Splash and dash. Shortest race in the event stack.
Yeah, shortest race in the high school lineup. Shortest race competitively, period. It's a really fun race, but due to the duration of it or how short it is, it's also a very technical race. Everything needs to be perfect in order for you to be competitive or gain an advantage over your opponents.
All right, for the junior varsity, we have Finnerty for McFarland in lane 2, Ryan for Monroe in lane 3, Malik for McFarland in 4, Elgin for Monroe in 5, Chandre for McFarland in 6, Megan Cook for McFarland in 8. Lane 2 and lane 4, Finnerty and Malik are two seniors in this event. Nice turn there.
Yep.
Nice breakout.
Huge lead change there.
Malik or Chandre coming in. Reach. There we go. 30.87 versus 30.90. 0.03 of a tenth of a difference there. Third place goes to Alexis Elgin of Monroe. All right, the next event, event number 8, the girls 50-yard freestyle varsity version. Ellie Kunze for McFarland in lane 2, Morrison for Monroe in 3, Alf, the senior, for McFarland in 4, Hosley for Monroe in lane 5, Van Horn, also senior, in lane 6, Foley for Monroe in lane 7. Then after this will be the presentation of our seniors. There'll be a small break while that occurs. There's a nice start by Sophia.
Even lane 2 here. Lane 2 is right
lane
up there.
Lane 2, yeah, there we go. That is Ellie Kunze in lane 2.
Come on, somebody get it.
$26.85 is the time for Riley Hosey for Monroe, followed by 27.21 for Sophia Alf. And in lane 2, 27.75 for Ellie Kunze. Fourth, lane 6, Cass Van Horn. Fifth is lane 3, Morrison, 29.41. And in 6th is lane number 7, Christina Foley, 30.35. And now we're going to take a small break. We're going to talk a little bit about our seniors that have a senior presentation. This is where the McFarland team will recognize the seniors. We will, looks like, presentation for Coach Jess Garvey will be presenting. And I think first up we'll have Sophia Alf. We're not really sure you're going to be able to hear what Sophia has to say, so we'll give her a little color commentary, but we'll get started here. And typically what happens here is the juniors end up getting some presents for the seniors and making, traditionally it's always been a little throw blanket that they give each of the seniors.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Good nod to Game of Thrones. First up, we've got Sophia Alf. Sophia plans on attending UW La Crosse or UW-Madison in the fall. She's been swimming for 9 years now. Her favorite event is the 200 free or 100 free. And Sophia's favorite memory is getting runner-up at state her freshman year or the team scavenger hunts.
Next up is Erin Finnerty. Post-high school plans to attend a 4-year business school in France. Swimming for over 4 years now. Favorite event is the 50 free or breast in a relay. Keeping it short and sweet. And favorite swim memory are the team scavenger hunts or kidnapping freshmen. We'll make sure it doesn't get leaked out to the police.
We'll talk a little bit about that. The tradition is the first day of practice, seniors come and pick up the freshmen and take them out to breakfast before their first day of school. So, kidnapping for a good purpose.
Yeah, brutal.
It's brutal for the parents because it's 5 o'clock in the morning when a bunch of 18-year-old girls show up at your front door. All right, next up we have Charlotte Douglas. She plans to attend a 4-year university after high school. She's been swimming around 10 years. Her favorite event is the 50 fly in the 200 medley relay. And her favorite swim memory is sharing a lane with Natalie Branch sophomore year and not swimming an entire set because no one gave us directions.
Jess has got to love to hear that.
Yeah. And it's now...
Next is Ava Malig. Post-high school plans are to attend a college at some point. Been swimming for 4 years. Favorite events are the 50 free and 200 medley relay. And favorite swim memory is the 2021 Night at the Museum scavenger hunt.
All right, the next senior that we have is Natalie Schwab. Post-high school, she plans to attend a 4-year college out of state. She's been swimming for 11 years now. Her favorite event is the 50 or 100 free. Her favorite swim memory, and again, I'm going to love this because, Jess, this is going to be imprinted on the internet forever. Her favorite swim memory, disappointing Jess every single meet when I dove in for warm-ups.
Been there. All right, last senior is Cass Van Horn. Cass plans to take classes at MATC in the spring for welding. and then transferring to a university later on. Cass has been swimming her whole life competitively for 10 years. Favorite event is the 100 freestyle, and favorite swim memory is lifting in the weight room with Ava.
And that are your seniors for 2022. The pool, we'll have a 10-minute break where the pool will be open for warm-ups, and we will be back in 10 minutes. All right, we are back, starting with the 100 butterfly. This is the varsity version of the 100 butterfly. Addie Worth for McFarland in lane 2. Riley Hosley for Monona, or for Monona, jeez. For Monroe in lane 3. Olivia Tierney for McFarland in 4. Delaney Lynch for Monroe in lane 5. Charlotte Douglas for McFarland in lane number 6. Nice start from Olivia Tierney off the blocks.
Got to have that break before the butterfly here. Tough race.
It's a nice race here between top 4 swimmers here. Lynch in 5, Tierney in 4, Douglas in 6. Hosley in 3. It looks like Monroe's going to end up going 1-2. And lane number 5, 105.72 for Delaney Lynch. Second place, 107.46 for Riley Hosley. Third goes to Charlotte Douglas, 109.15. Next up, we will have event number 11, Junior Varsity. This is the girls' 100-yard freestyle. In lane number 3, Emma Chandre for McFarland. Lane 4, Evie Vidrio for McFarland. Lane 5, Abby Ryan for Monroe. And in lane 6, Megan Cook for McFarland. Thought it was a nice presentation for the seniors.
It's always nice to recognize all the hard work and energy that's put into all this time in the sport, time and time again. It's not easy to do. Like you mentioned earlier, early morning practices and sometimes doubles. You got to go afternoon and morning. It takes a lot of time and dedication.
And get their homeworks done too, right? Be a student too. All right, and we've got the nice start to the 100 free. 4 lengths of the pool. Anything that you look for in particular for the 100, Wes?
You got to get a little bit of breathing up front. A lot of times in a 50 should be actually have a specific number in mind that you're taking during that time. The 100, you can breathe kind of in the middle there, but going into your details, a lot of times you want to look for less breathing or hit those details strong and power through. Towards the end of the race, really putting your head down, maybe those last 10 yards to get ahead of opponents. It's a sprint with breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really nice tempo, legs here, down in lane 3.
Yep, that is Emma Chandre. She will come in, win the heat, 1:10.64. It's a good time for her. Second place, Megan Cook, also from McFarland, 1:12.20. Third, 1:17.53 for Abby Ryan. And in fourth, 1:24.50 for Vidrio. All right. Next up is event number 12, the girls 100-yard freestyle varsity. Carolyn Green for McFarland in lane 2, Amelia Morrison for Monroe in lane 3, Schwab for McFarland in 4, Dahl for Monroe in 5, Van Horn for McFarland in 6, Foley for Monroe in lane 7.
McFarland getting out here quick, is great to see. After that butterfly, I think some points were taken by Monroe. This would be a good way to get them back into it. Last we heard, the scores were 32-30 at the break. We'll get an update here soon.
So that's after the 53. Well, if McFarland can go 1, 2, 3 here, that'll be good.
Getting out there and staying out there.
And there we go, 58-55 for Natalie Schwab. 1 minute, 1:00:49 for Cass Van Horn. And third place is Carolyn Green for McFarland, 1:02:80. So good times there, breaking that 1 minute mark for Natalie Schwab. Not sure if that's a best time for her, but definitely a good time. And McFarland goes 1, 2, 3 in that 100. That definitely will help. That's 13 points for them in that event. All right, next up, we went from talking about the shortest event now to the longest event. This is the girls 500-yard freestyle varsity. In lane number 3, Faber for Monroe. Lane 4, Sophia Alf for McFarland. Lane 5, Chapman for Monroe. And lane 6, Ellie Draper for McFarland. You know, one thing I noticed in the reviews of the seniors, not one person mentioned their favorite event was the 500.
I can't say that I blame them, but that's just me personally. It is a great race. 500 is a lot of strategy involved, and I have just seen so many good, impressive races within a 500 free. This race, compared to all the others, has the most mind games when it comes to close races in the high school lineup, and it can be a lot of fun to watch. Being consistent with your splits and knowing when to pick up that pace or stick with your opponent, it's very strategic, and again is unlike any of the other races you can do.
Yeah.
The race is so long, though. You have to have a teammate
Yes.
help you keep count.
Yes. 20 lengths there and back. You can see there at the end of the pool, you do have counters there. They'll be telling the swimmers where they're at.
Got to make sure that they know they did one.
Exactly. I will tell you the best 500 that I saw was probably it was D2 State. Kelly Rodriguez, who won state that year. I think that was 18. She would always get stronger as the race would go on. So you'd be seeing her a body length, 2 body lengths out after 100 or 200, and you're just like, I don't know what happens. And then she's just like, she back halves it, and 30. She would get stronger and faster every single 50. And then the next thing you know, she was body length ahead of everybody. And
Yeah.
Autumn Habig would be the other person that did that. Those are the two.
It's a smart strategy. Obviously, in an ideal world, you could just hit the same times every time. But I have known other people to do that as well. It's really just how your body reacts during the duration of this race. You know, the race is anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes long, depending on how quick you are at swimming it. So a lot can happen during that time. And again, depending on what you work on in practice, you and your coach should be figuring out how your body reacts and what the best way to pace for this race is. Of all the high school races, this is the one that really has the most pacing involved. Even that 200 free, it's really a controlled sprint. So this event is in a league of its own in this lineup.
So we're just watching in lane number 5, it's Megan Chapman. Her last 2 splits, 33:41, 33:06, 34:36, compared to compared to Sophia, 33.62, 35.11, 36.09. So you can kind of see the nice pacing there by Chapman.
It doesn't take much to slow your momentum. A lot of times in my coaching experience, sometimes you'll see somebody add a second and a half from 150 to the next, and then that's where you're going to be stuck.
Right.
That term pace can be determined in a lot of different ways, but one thing is pace, meaning that you're keeping that momentum, you're keeping with that feeling and flow of that race. And it could take a flip turn with a bad breakout, or you end up just coming in and taking an extra breath to slow you up and then slow that momentum down, which can change the course of this whole race.
Yeah, here's the other split here. Last one was 32.9, this is 33.4, so another good pacing. While we're in the middle, we just want to remind you some other WCMF programming. Friday, we have Spartan football versus Evansville. That is also senior night, so please tune into that. That'll be the final broadcast of the fall season for McFarland Athletics for the fall session. And then beginning Wednesday, October 19th, Wes, don't forget this, join us at the start of the 13 Nights of Halloween. Every night, 9 p.m. through Halloween, enjoy old horror films like Nosferatu from 1922, Night of the Living Dead from 1968, The House on the Haunted Hill, 1959, and more. Keep an eye out for schedule to be released on the village's social media platforms and news websites later this week. Also a reminder, we do have Senior Film Fridays. Tune in and enjoy film classics twice a month. Showings will be broadcast at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., beginning with the McFarland Senior Services News Flash, followed by the feature film. Tune in to TDS Cable 1009, Spectrum Cable Channel 982, or online at www.mcfarlandcablechannel.com. This month's theme is Vincent Price Film Fest, and on Friday, October 28th, tune into 1964's Last Man on Earth. We're going to get the bell app here in a second. And there is the bell letting the lead swimmer know she is on her last 50. Also want to take time out and thank the WMCF production brought to you by McFarland Communications and Technology. Today's staff includes Andrew Day, Stephanie Miller, and Ben Becks. So thank you to those guys. They always do an excellent job. Great camera angles.
Yeah, got the best seat in the house here at home.
Great setup. And as we come to the end of the race, Megan Chapman with a 5:31.38. It's a really good time heading into championship season. 5:52.88 for Sophia Alf. There's a race for third. You can hear between Ellie Draper and Piper Faber. It's going to come down to the touch. Ellie Draper, 6:08.24, coming in third, followed by Piper Faber, 6:09.06. It's a good race down to the end.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
And this is that could make the difference for the dual meet. All right, the next up we have the girls 200-yard freestyle relay. This is the junior varsity version. We just have one team, and that's the McFarland A team of Ava Maleg, Eva Vidrio, Megan Cook, and Aaron Finnerty. And again, Aaron and Ava, both seniors. And after the 500, we do have the score. It is McFarland 56, Monroe 53.
Still close.
Still close. know. I missed the cough button before I coughed.
Well, even if you hit your cough button, you're coughing into my microphone. So
Stu Schaefer's laughing at us. He's looking it over, trying to figure out what we're trying to do. You just worry about your computer over there, Stu. You don't mind what's going on the broadcast. He's telling me how to use this. I should be using the cough button when I cough, so. Thanks, Stu. I appreciate it. It's our last broadcast. Things are just.
I'm not saying it. No, we're doing great.
It's all falling apart. Stephanie, I'm sure, is upstairs listening to us going, shaking her head. We'll see if we get invited back for next season. Here's a nice.
Good exchange, good swing.
Yep.
Everybody loves the 200 freestyle relay because it's just a 50 free for everyone. Again, that splash and dash, or the shortest race that you can do here. And you get to do it with 3 other teammates. It's a lot of fun. As we talked about, a good exchange. You get to see one more here coming up. The difference between an individual race and a relay is obviously that there are other people swimming it with you. And as one person comes into the wall, the other person can be on the block and leave before the person even starts to touch the wall. As long as they touch the wall and your big toe is on that block, that is a legal exchange. So you can almost get a head start or even a little bit more momentum if you're standing upright and swinging those arms to get into your leg of the race.
Yeah, and for the listeners and the watchers, you might see 2 different types of techniques, a couple different techniques actually from that start. And here comes Infinity in the end. Here, coming into the wall, 2:15.96. We'll see, we'll talk a little bit more about the next race here. This is the varsity version of the girls' 200-yard freestyle. Girls' freestyle relay. In lane 3, we have the B relay for Monroe of Dahl, Morrison, Elgin, and Piper. Lane 4 is the A relay of Schwab, Douglas, Ellie Kunze, and Van Horn. In lane number 5, Monroe's A relay, Hosley, Zensner, Chapman, Lynch. In lane 6, we have the B relay of Tobin, Mignon, Worth, and Draper. We will see if that's the letter race. It was close.
I'll say they're being nice.
Well, I think typically in high school they're going to let them race anyway, even though they might DQ it after. I've seen that happen in the dual meet.
We'll see what happens there. Essentially, they were trying to anticipate that start. And in the sport of swimming, unlike another Olympic sport like track where you can redo your start, swimming is a one and done. You have your one chance to get up, set your position, and go when that beeper goes.
There's 2 good exchanges there. 2 other good exchanges there for the relays.
And again, you can see kind of a difference there. First people that went was a full arm swing above their head and then through past their hips, while another type of swing was straight back by their hips and then back the other direction. I don't see anybody here tonight doing a step over the wedge. That is fairly new to swimming. We never had wedges when I was swimming.
Back in the ancient days?
Yeah. Or if I did, it was at the tail end. So little technology upgrades for the sport.
Coming into the next leg here. Monroe out in the lead.
Big race for third.
Yeah, that's going to be the big key here. So who's going to take third? And in a race like this, You'll have Monroe getting 8 points, McFarland getting 4. It's going to be who's going to get that next 2. Right, Monroe 147-12, 149-89, and here comes the race down. It's the final.
It's close.
It's going to be close. Reach, and you've got McFarland's B relay, 159.96 for third. So
the false start doesn't matter regardless.
There you go.
Yeah, try to just minimize the amount of points.
So the score there, 8 for Monroe, 6 for McFarland. Next up, we have the girls 100-yard backstroke varsity. And after that event, 62-61 McFarland. So 1 point lead for McFarland going into this 100 backstroke. Lane 2, Casey Draper for McFarland. Lane 3, Anna Zensner for Monroe. Carolyn Green for McFarland in 4. Amelia Gieb for Monroe in 5. Olivia Tierney for McFarland in 6. Again, this is 100-yard backstroke. What do you look for here?
I think a big thing at the high school level is that carrying that momentum through these turns. Backstroke being on your back, you're looking at the ceiling. So unlike the other strokes, you don't necessarily know exactly when that wall is coming. Your only indicator are these flags that are hanging above the girl's eyes right here. You then have to know how many strokes it takes for you to roll to your belly and flip. We talked about earlier how a relay got disqualified for being on their belly too long. So you have to come up with that timing and be into your tuck on that turn right away. With that, working those turns with good underwaters makes a huge difference at the high school level. Being on your back, again, is tough. When you're on your back in water, water goes up your nose. So doing good underwaters is another way to get an advantage over your competitors.
Caroline Green with the win here, 103.18, followed by 105.96 for Monroe's Anna Zensner. Third, Casey Draper, 107.85. Fourth, 109.64 for Olivia Tierney.
Yeah, a 1-3-4.
So what is that?
Some good. That's going to help them out a bunch.
It's a big event for McFarland. All right, next up we have the event number 19, girls 100-yard breaststroke junior varsity. 3 swimmers in this event: Evie Vidrio for McFarland in lane 4, Alexis Elgin for Monroe in lane 5, Ava Malig for McFarland, the senior, in lane number 6. And as we predicted, 73-66 now after that 100-yard backstroke. So McFarland adding to their lead by 7 points. They're up by 7 now.
Yeah, it's important to establish a lead depending on a relay where there's just more points to be won or lost. And again, that differential of winning first is huge for relays. So to really give yourself a buffer here for McFarland, doing well in that backstroke, and hopefully here in this breaststroke could help them seal the deal. I'm sure Monroe would like to say otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's been a great meet so far, so I'm sure it will come down right to the wire.
Always comes down to the great meets. Always seem to come down to that 400 freestyle relay.
That's my favorite relay by far as well. Every swimmer swimming 100 versus a 50 really allows some racing and competitiveness to show. Little things can go a long way over that duration of each swimmer's race.
And it really depends on how they set up that relay, right? You have some coaches that'll put their 2 fastest swimmers in the first 2. Some will put their fastest swimmer in 1 and 4. or 3 and 4. So it's always interesting to me when you see.
It's not an easy thing to do. You're also having to plan every swimmer's lineup here through the whole rest of the high school lineup. Each swimmer can only swim 4 races, 2 individual and 2 relays total. So by the time you get to this 400 free relay, or depending on which races you allocated to which swimmer at what times, it might change who's even available for a relay.
And also a reminder, right? I mean, it's 7:10 right now. Doing 4 events in less than an hour and a half. It's not an easy feat. And we have the end here of that 100-yard breaststroke. Lane number 4, Evie Vidrio with a 131.81. 138.50 for Ava Malig. And Alexis Elgin coming in third, 146.48. All right, now we have the girls 100-yard breaststroke varsity. This is event number 20. Kalisa Mignon for McFarland in lane 2. Danica Dahl for Monroe in lane 3. Ellie Kunze for McFarland in 4. Maggie Piper for Monroe in 5. Izzy Tobin for McFarland in 6. Brindley Chapman for Monroe in 7.
We alluded to it earlier, breaststroke as being an interesting race. You could tell right off that start, they were all doing a breaststroke pullout underwater. Very unique to this stroke. That is where you are able to bring your hands down to your hips, kick them back up, and at that point you need to start swimming your actual stroke.
This stroke race is the legs are just as important as the arms, right?
I would even say legs are more important than the arms in breaststroke. In my experience, I have seen some breaststrokers that are more arm-driven, but it's far and few by comparison to good breaststrokers that have a good breaststroke kick. It's just such an important key to this stroke, and again is why it's so hard for certain people to be efficient at it. Not everybody can feel the water that way or bend their knees that way.
Kunze's going to come in at first place. It'll be the battle for third and fourth, I think. Oh, all right. There we go. All right, 118.87 for Ellie Kunze winning that heat. In second is Maggie Piper for Monroe. Third is Izzy Tobin for McFarland, 124.55. Fourth is 126.70. So what do we say? 1-3-4 finish, which then puts them 84-71 going into the 100 free. And that should do it. 13-point lead. Unless both relays DQ.
Which
is highly unlikely. But here we go. Last event of the night. Girls 400-yard freestyle relay. 4 teams in the heat. The B relay of Faber, Foley, Gieb, and Piper for Monroe. In lane 4, the A relay for McFarland, Alf, Tierney, Green, and Schwab. In lane 5, Monroe's Lynch, Hosley, Chapman, Zentner. And in lane 6, the B relay of Douglas, Worth, Casey Draper, and Ellie Draper.
Yeah, even if the 2 relays did get disqualified, 12 points is not enough. Being 13 ahead is
that's true.
Just that 1 point buffer.
Good math skills, Wes. Good job.
I try.
Sophia Alf in a good lead here, going into that second exchange. Well, good exchange there by Monroe. Again, just a reminder that this WMCF production is brought to you by McFarland Communications and Technology. Our staff today is Andrew Day, Stephanie Miller, and Ben Becks. And it's getting a little close here. Monroe is taking the lead here on that first 50.
This is exactly why this relay in the high school lineup is my favorite. It actually allows even more lead changes, has the swimmers show their grit, fight to stay in it. I've seen some amazing things when put into pressure positions in the 400 freestyle relay.
Absolutely.
So one lead change there. Now on to a new set of swimmers. We'll see what happens on this leg.
This is Chapman for Monroe, Caroline Green for McFarland. Caroline Green's got a nice kick. Let's see if she can keep that up for the next 50. Made up some time here.
Monroe holding on that lead with good arm tempo.
Looks like Green might have ran out of gas after the first 50.
Hey, you got to give it a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, it also shows it's not quite a 50 freestyle. It's a little bit different. You got to have that sprint with breathing to be able to make it through all 4 lengths.
Good exchange there. Natalie Schwab here. She's a 100 freestyler, so let's see how this goes. Again, just a reminder that there's no more swim meet broadcasts. We're done for the girls' season, but we'll hopefully be back for boys season. And then the next broadcast for sporting is going to be the Spartan football against Evansville, and that is also senior night. Looks like there's a race for third. That is between Ellie Draper and Maggie Piper. Looks like the race for third, here it is, coming down to the wire. Stroke for stroke. And it looks like Ellie Draper pulls away at the very end, 4:19.29 for that B relay. First place, 3:54.97 for Monroe. 4 minutes flat for 4:00.07 for McFarland's A relay. That should do it for tonight. McFarland will win the dual meet here. And that is the last event. So again, just a reminder, this has been a production of the WMCF production brought to you by McFarland Communications and Technology. Again, a huge thank you to today's staff, Andrew Day, Stephanie Miller, Ben Becks. Thank you guys tuning in. If you want to watch other future McFarland Cable broadcasts, please go to www.youtube.com/McFarlandCable. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications as well. TDS Cable 1009 is another place you can check our broadcast, as well as Spectrum Cable's channel 982, as well as www.mcfarlandcablechannel.com. This has been an exciting night on senior night. McFarland with the win on the dual meet. I am your host, Mike Minersky, along with my good friend here, Wes Lagerhausen. Everybody have a good night, and please be safe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck with the rest of your seasons.